take it real soon.
Hey everybody, this is Pastor Josh, and welcome to Cooking with the Pastor, where we are talking all about how to make an Asian pork burger today. We've had a lot of people actually ask me if we could do additional episodes on all kinds of different things, from when we did our first ramen video to making In-N-Out burgers, Chipotle burritos, Chick-fil-A sandwiches, and we're definitely going to get to those things. But today, I wanted to show you guys how to make one of my favorite meals for the Shaw family, which is pork Asian coleslaw, spicy, delicious, just incredible burgers. And so we're going to begin like we did last time, where I'm going to show you some of the ingredients, and then we're going to start making the ground pork and the coleslaw, and then we'll get on to actually progressing into making the whole sandwich itself. So for our ingredients, it's actually really similar to what we had for our ramen in the fact that we're using a lot of Asian ingredients. So to begin, actually not all Asian, but Asian inspired kind of taste bud flavoring amazements, right? So you got cilantro. Cilantro is fantastic for anything you make with pork. We've got green onions. We've got soy sauce. I'm going to add a little ponzu to my mixture as well when I make my my pork bun or my pork burger patty type of thing. Ponzu is basically a soy sauce that also has a citrus seasoning to it. It's got like sometimes lime, sometimes lemon, but it's sugary. It's delicious. We're going to add some of our classic, we talked about this in the ramen video as well. We got ginger paste, we got some garlic paste. We've also got some rice vinegar we're going to add to our coleslaw. We've got sriracha. I love a spicy slaw, a little bit of a zing to it. I am a big fan of actually just buying the coleslaw mixture and then adding a bunch of stuff to it. So if you go to the store and you just find like a little jar that says coleslaw dressing, buy that, because that's actually what we'll make most of our stuff with. Of course, we've got sesame oil, so that way we get that Asian kind of zing to it and umami flavor when we're making our burger patties. I've got some apple cider vinegar. And I've got some Chipotle chili pepper, which we're going to add to our coleslaw slaw kind of dressing. And then I've got some extra olive oil or extra virgin olive oil. This will be what we cook our actual patties with. And then we got a couple more things, and then we are off to the races. So I've got ground pork that I personally bought at the Asian market that we talked about in our last video. You can buy ground pork pretty much anywhere. They come in tubes sometimes, so you can use that. Got a pack of coleslaw. You can make your own coleslaw, but today I decided to be lazy and just buy a bag simply because I wanted to, and I didn't want to have to dice up a bunch of cabbage and carrots and all kinds of stuff like that. Last two things we've got are eggs. Egg will be the binder for our pork. And also we will put a very delicious sunny side up egg on our sandwich. It's gonna be fantastic. And then I've got some buns. These are onion buns that I have already placed a whole bunch of Japanese mayo on top of them. Don't freak out. I will show you why this is so important when we make our sandwiches. I think adding mayonnaise, and especially Japanese mayonnaise, on top of your buns is way better than doing butter. It has more fat, it has more flavor, and everybody loves fat and flavor. So we want to make sure we do that. So to begin, let me put all of these ingredients to the side here. We're going to start by just making our coleslaw. And the coleslaw is really important to make really early in the process, because you want all the flavors of the coleslaw to actually kind of blend together. So that way, when you put them on your burger, or on your pork burger, it's crunchy, but it's also got a ton of flavor. So I'm gonna do this right away. I'm basically just gonna add to this bowl just like about 2 cups worth of the slaw, because I'm making 3 burgers for tonight. So we've got one for me, my wife, and then our roommate. And so this is our slaw mixture. This is kind of like a broccoli-based slaw. In addition to that, we're gonna grab all the goodies that we will add to our actual, there we go. Okay, so this is how you make your slaw. Super simple. You grab your actual slaw dressing, and then you put that, you just lob that on the top. I like a really wet slaw, so I like to put a lot of dressing on here. Let me actually just use a spoon here. So we're gonna use the dressing, okay? So most coleslaws will just like leave it just like that, but we want to add flavor and we want to make things actually really tasty. So the next thing we want to do is add a little bit of vinegar to it, so that way you get a bite when you bite into your sandwich and your burger, you really want that vinegar bite to it. So we're going to add some apple cider vinegar. I'm going to add a little bit of some sesame oil. This gives it that oiliness, that lubrication, and also it gives you the umami flavor that you really want. And then we're gonna add a little bit of some chipotle chili pepper. This is just kind of like a ground pepper. And then the last thing, actually, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, we got sriracha. I think I actually mentioned this in the thing. So I like to add a little sriracha, about 2 seconds worth of sriracha into my slaw. So we're just gonna mix that up. And Brienne, if you wanna get in close on this. My wife is the camera lady today. She's literally cooking with the pasteurs. So all we're doing right now is just mixing this up, and we're trying to get all of that coleslaw mixed in together. So there's nothing special about this. It's literally just coleslaw, except for it's got a little bit of a kick and it's got a little bit more of an Asian zing to it because of that sesame oil. So the reason why we made this first is because we want all of those flavors to now just basically chill out in there. So we're gonna leave that to the side. The next thing that we need to do in this big bowl is we need to make our pork. And so you can't just throw a bunch of ground pork into a bowl and then put salt and pepper on it or something and then be like, hey, that's great, let's make some patties. It doesn't work like that. You want to add binders, you want to add flavor, you want to add all kinds of good stuff to it. So what you'll see here is this is just ground pork. There's nothing special about it right now, but as we begin to add flavors to it, that's when it's going to really become absolutely incredible. So I'm just going to take a bundle of my cilantro, and I'm literally just gonna basically chop my cilantro up. Let me move this out of the way for you. So I'm chopping up my cilantro, and because I'm putting this in an actual minced meat, I want my cilantro to also be relatively finely chopped. Because if not, all I'm gonna get is a bunch of chunks of cilantro in my pork, and I don't wanna do that. So you just grab this, you can put this right in your pork. We'll deal with that in a second. Let's go back to here. Now we got our green onions, and we're just gonna literally chop these up. Some people call these scallions, green onions, doesn't really matter what you call them. So now those, give them just like a nice little chop. Okay, so now we're gonna throw those into the pork. Okay, so now we're done cutting, but we need to continue making this pork actually tasty, right? So we wanna add all of our salty and our savory and our spicy components to this. And then we're gonna mix it in with an egg because the egg is actually gonna be our binder. So right away, we're gonna start with some ponzu. This is gonna give us our citrus. And I'm just eyeballing this, basically just thinking, okay, how much of this would I actually want in a burger? Got some regular soy, so we just get our sodium content up. There's that. A little bit of sesame oil. Sesame oil smells so good. I swear. I think I said this last time. I could drink this if it wouldn't kill me. I love sesame oil so much. It is so dang tasty. Okay, so now we want to add some rice vinegar. So this is what we've added to rice before. We've added this to our ramen before. Add a little bit of that. Now we're going to add some paste garlic. You could use freshly chopped garlic if you'd like, but this is really great for when things are already minced because this is minced garlic. We're going to add some minced ginger. And then about 2 seconds worth of sriracha. And then a little splash of apple cider vinegar, just a splash. Now, before I mix this, so if you can actually see this, Brienne, it basically just looks like a goop of grody, right? Like there's nothing fantastic about that at all. And if I tried to mix this right now, well, all that would happen is you'd have all these clumps of stuff just being clumped together, and you need a binding agent. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add an egg to this. And that egg is actually going to help facilitate some binding. And you know what? I think I'm gonna add one more egg, but actually I'm just gonna add the whites, because that'll actually bind it really well. And if you notice what I did, I just basically used the shell and I just kind of took it away from it. Okay, there we go. Egg whites are usually what you use to fluff and make stuff bind together. Now, if you want to get really messy, you can have your kids do this. I am not bold enough to let Ezekiel and Asher actually touch meat yet, simply because I think that they would probably eat it raw. And I'm not really a big fan of seeing my children eat raw meat. But if your kids are older and you want them to play around with some raw meat and let them have some fun and make some patties, that would be fantastic. So now what we've got here is I've actually got this mixed up. Okay, so check this out, Brianne. So if you guys see this, all the stuff that we want in here is mixed together, it's bound together. And after this, let me just pull that up. After doing this, in the next scene, I'm gonna already have formed these into 3 different patties, and then we'll have the buns go in the oven, and we'll actually begin cooking the burger patties, putting the coleslaw on, and then building the entire thing together. So let's make these into some patties, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, now that we're done kind of forming the patties and all this stuff, so while you guys were away for a couple minutes, I took this mixture of pork and I formed them into these patties, and you can actually see them right here. So I formed it with my hands, I put them in this pan, and I put a little bit of olive oil in them. And then I made them into like a ball, and then I pushed them down, and then I smashed them onto the hot pan so that we'd get that char on the bottom. So I've got 3 of those cooking right now. And as you can see actually around the rim, so we're starting to get some good colorization on the outside rim, which is a really good sign that these are almost ready to be flipped. Now before I flip them, one of the things that I want to do now is I want to take the buns that I have that have the Japanese mayo on them. Remember, fat equals flavor, and this is delicious. And so instead of using butter, I'm using mayonnaise. I'm also dairy-free. I can't do a lot of milk or butter, and so mayonnaise is a great substitute for that. So I'm just going to put this in my oven. This is going in at 350 degrees, and we'll let those start cooking, and we may actually end up broiling them as we need. One thing I forgot to mention, let me loosen this guy up. One thing I forgot to mention in my intro when I was talking about all of our ingredients was that at the very bottom of our burger, I also want to add some baby arugula. I think just a bed of lettuce or arugula is really tasty with stuff like this. So now that that's almost ready to go, we're gonna get our egg cooking. And if you've ever had an egg on a sandwich, you know that it's absolutely delicious. And why would you not put an egg with a runny yolk on a sandwich? I don't know why you wouldn't do that. Okay, so we're gonna flip these guys, so that way we can get the nice colorization and the caramelization on the bottom here. Flip. Nicely done. Grab this guy, flip. Oop, this guy fell apart just a little bit. So anytime you have a burger patty that falls apart, chances are what happens is that you didn't use enough of a binder. So with mine, if one of these falls apart, it just means that I probably just should have used more egg. Or you could add breadcrumbs, which are really tasty too. I could have used some panko breadcrumbs for this one, but these are just fine. So, okay. So Brianne, if you want to come in and check this out, look at these burgers look like here. You see how they're all, you got that caramelization happening. These are getting fully cooked. Now pork does not need to be cooked to a medium well or well done. I know a lot of people are really afraid to eat pork when it's medium rare. The pink color kind of freaks them out a little bit. But I think the new FDA regulations on pork is like 140 degrees. Is that right, babe? 140, something like that. And so it can look a little medium rare, and that's completely fine. So we've got the egg going here. So I'm going to move this guy just a little bit. There we go. Get him turned up a little bit. Burgers are cooking. Let me check on the buns here. They're going. So we're going to turn this to broil now. And the broil just means that it gets super hot and it cooks from the top all the way down. So it just blasts it blasts the heat on top of whatever you've got cooking. So now, let me loosen these guys up. Here we go. Loosen these guys up. So I'm going to show you a little trick when it comes to arugula. So when you're making arugula, let me grab a bowl here. When you're making arugula for a sandwich or a burger or anything like that, dry arugula is really boring. Like, it just doesn't taste good at all. And so one of the ways that you can kind of spiff up your arugula is if you take this, and you can follow me, Brianna, if you want. Don't judge us for our fridge. Where are you at? Right here. So one of the ways that you can spruce up your arugula is if you take the rice vinegar and you just put like a not even a tablespoon of that on there, and then you put a little bit of some sesame oil. And this wettens the arugula, and it'll also add flavor without feeling like you just overpowered a really, really simple product. So let's just kind of move this around just a smidge. And that way it'll also stick to itself, which will be really nice. So baby arugula on the bottom. We'll put that on when it's ready to go. See this egg, that's getting there really nicely. Burgers are almost done. So the number one thing now we are waiting for is the buns. And remember, they've got that mayo on there. So all the mayo, which is basically just a bunch of egg yolks. And when you do Japanese mayo, they add a little bit of rice wine vinegar, they add some salt, and sometimes it actually tastes a little bit like wasabi to some people. Oh yeah, there we go. That's getting there. We'll get like 1 more minute. That'll give us enough time to let our egg. I'm gonna do a little bit of salt on this egg, just to make sure that the salt gets a little bit of flavor to it. Okay. Should we do like super sunny side up? What do you think, Brianne? Is that good? Brianne doesn't want to speak behind the camera, by the way. She just wants to sit there and hold it. She says that the camera's so heavy it's making her hand shake, but she also does CrossFit every day of the week, so maybe she should just hold the camera every day and that would be her workout. I don't know. You could ask Coach Sean about that and see what he thinks. So let's see. Okay, we got that. There we go. So I'm going to let this burger be done. So those are done cooking now. And now it's going to be probably time. Yep, there we go. We are going to plate this baby, and it is going to be amazing. And then we'll obviously eat it, because that's going to be even more incredible. Okay, let's get this here. All right. Whew, this is a good looking bottom. Do you see? So this is what happens when you add mayo to the bottom and on the tops. It actually caramelizes, and then it actually crusts just like butter, but it has way more flavor to it. So that's your delicious bottom. We're gonna add a little bit of sriracha, just because I like a little bit of spice on my burgers. We're gonna add our baby arugula. The egg is done. Let's turn that guy off. I've actually been like whistling this new song that Lighthouse wrote called Reason to Praise. Such a good song. Okay. So now, let's add our delicious burger patty. Well, not a burger patty. It's a pork patty, but that's okay. Well, it's a burger. Burger, hamburger, pork. I don't know how you explain that. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's add our sunny side up egg. Now, for beautification reasons, you want the yolk right at the very edge, because there is nothing more beautiful than when I pop that yolk. That will literally change your life forever. Let's add, oh gosh, add some of our coleslaw. Not too much, but also, oh, now I'm just making a mess. This is ridiculous. Let's get that out of the way. Okay. Now let's add our bun. And then, you know what? I bet if I do this just right, I bet if I push it, it'll pop. Are you ready? You want to try it, Bryn? Should we see? It'll be fun. Okay, here we go. Let's see how beautiful this is. You got a good shot of this? Here we go. Come on, baby. Oh, come on. That is amazing. All right, let's try it, yeah? Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna make you take a bite of it on camera, by the way. I'm gonna hold it and show everybody. Make you eat it. Ready? I'm gonna pull Sam the cooking guy. He's my favorite cooker on chef on the world. So the sriracha and the rice vinegar with the egg and pork has crispy spiciness, but then the egg yolk is like, have you guys ever seen the videos of people eating oranges in the shower? Or like heard about them? Literally, they eat an orange messy in the shower, but because they're in the shower, they're cleaned as they're eating it. That's what I feel like the egg yolk is as I'm eating. It's like this, just like, I just ate and I just got washed with something incredible. I should make this like a Jesus reference because I'm a pastor, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. The yolk will change your life. Okay, here, give me the camera. I'm gonna make you eat on camera. Here we go. Hold on, hold on. Here we go. I'm watching. How is it? Is it good? Yeah? Oh, you need to wipe your hands too, yeah. There you go. Nicely done. All right, everybody, this is the messy but delicious Asian pork burger, a little spice, a little bit of kick with the egg, runny egg, and all that deliciousness. So I hope you guys get the chance to try it out. Make it sure you put in the comment section anything you want me to try next, or if you like the recipe, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all those good things. And then the next couple episodes we'll be coming out with, hopefully there'll be some Chipotle burritos, some Chick-fil-A sandwiches, and some In-N-Out. So we love you guys. I hope you were blessed by this video and have a good rest of your week. And I was making this for Easter week, so I guess this is my Easter Passover celebration. So have a great week, guys. We'll see you soon.
Come on, groove it on. I said, baby, I know you're on a roll. Sweet honey, let's take it